step out the car. And he asked me, any drugs or whatnot in the car? And I'm like, nope. He's like, do you mind if we search? I'm like, no problem. He opens up the trunk, and for a minute my heart like skipped a beat because he opened up the trunk and there was
Wagwan, wagwan.
Wagwan YouTube family. My name is Eric. It's the Eric Evolvement channel. If you're not yet subscribed, go ahead and subscribe right now. So today I am doing an interview. So I've been interviewing a lot of people, and this brother hit me up and said, you know what, I want to interview you. So so I appreciate you, man. So welcome. It's Cops, Courts,
Community.
Cops, Courts, and Community. Welcome, brother. Please introduce yourself.
Thanks, Eric. Thank you for having me on. As Eric said, this is Darnell Leeson from Cops, Court, and Community. Started my channel maybe 5 years ago because I felt there was a need to simplify the laws for the people in my home state of New York. And I pretty much break it down for me on my channel. I try and break down the law as simply as I can, for the layman, because the law, it's a little complicated if you don't understand it. That's why I think people tend to make a mistake, get themselves, stopped by the police or something like that. So I'll try and break it down for them as easily and as simply as I possibly can. But as far as career-wise, I started my law enforcement career back in April of 1996. I started with Township. I was part of a department there until about sometime December 2004. I got hired by another agency here in New York State, and I've been there ever since. I got maybe another 12 months before I hit that magic retirement number, and then I'm out of here, man. So that's pretty much it.
Nice. Very nice, man. And you are going to be heading to Florida when you retire.
Yes, sir. Tampa Bay area.
Nice.
Packing it in. Time to go.
Nice. Very good. And so as being in law enforcement, are you planning to come down here and also do that, or you're going to be retired?
Listen, when I hang up that duty belt, man, that's it. I won't do the rest of it. I'm done. I'll find something part-time. I'm going to be relatively young. I am very lucky and blessed, rather to be in the pension system that I am. I'll have 24 years of service and I'll be age 50. So what am I going to do? I'll continue, doing what I love doing, and that's helping people, but it's not going to be, in a full uniform somewhere. I'll still continue to produce the content that I do for the channel, and I'll find something, something else to do, part-time if I choose to do so. But as far as, being, a certified sworn law enforcement officer, no desire.
Got it. So as I said, like this is essentially just kind of like me interviewing him a little bit now, but to see the full interview that we did, go on his channel, check him out, and you'll see kind of like the full interview that kind of he did to me. As law enforcement, right? What is something that I should be doing so that I don't get pulled over, or I reduce the risk of getting pulled over, other than like not speeding?
Well, I always tell people, and let's just stay with New York. The vehicle and traffic law, or the abbreviation of VTL, it's literally maybe twice as thick as this. All right. Mm-hmm. There's no way that you're going to know every single thing in there. I still don't know everything that's in there. I have my go-to violations that I look for, and we can get into that a little bit later if you want. But you really need to know, no matter what state you're in, New York or Florida, it is your responsibility as a licensed driver to know your state's vehicle and traffic laws. And not only your state, you're required to know, which is absolutely mind-blowing, you're required to know the laws of the state that you plan to drive in as well. So it's kind of tough. So if someone from Florida, a true Floridian, comes up to visit New York for vacation, and they decide they're going to rent a car from JFK Airport or LaGuardia or however they choose to fly in, and they commit a violation. You can't say, "Oh, I didn't know." That's not an affirmative defense. You have to really know the laws of the state that you're in. And a lot of people that I stop out of state, that are here, they say, "Oh, back in, in California, it's okay. Or,
Yeah.
North Carolina, it's legal, but you're not in California, you're not in North Carolina,
You're
you're
in
in
New
New
York.
York. You're required to know the laws of the state that you're driving in." And not that I'll write them the summons, I just listen. You got to be aware of this. And, I give them warning, warning and send them on their way. But going back to your question, what can you do? It's really drive safe. That's all I can say. Obey the speed limit. Don't run any stop signs. Pay attention to those red lights. That's really all that you can do. Don't make yourself a target. Don't do something that's going to cause me to look at you, and now, all right, I'm focused on, Eric right now. So it's just really driving safe, paying attention to what you're doing, because you might look down for a second and you deviate over that, double solid yellow line, and that's
Mhm.
for me to stop you. Now I pull you
Yeah.
over. Now something else is wrong. Maybe your license is suspended. Your insurance is lapsed. All because you just looked down because you wanted to grab something for a second and you drifted over. Just drive safe. That's
Yeah.
it.
Josh said, good. Listen, I won't incriminate myself. So listen, I'm gonna say I always drive safe, man.
Listen, I definitely appreciate a safe driver. If you're not,
Yes,
you're making it
definitely.
safe for me and my family, and you're making it safe for you as well. So I appreciate a good, safe driver.
No problem, no problem. And then another question that I had for you is, so yeah, in the event that I do get pulled over,
Uh-huh.
what is it that you kind of recommend or suggest that I do? Especially as as an African American, what do you suggest I do when I do get pulled over?
Well, it all depends. One, the most important thing: turn the car off, um, roll all the windows down, even if it's cold, because if it's cold outside and, you put the windows down and I come up to the car and see there's nobody, I keep the windows up. And keep your hands on the steering wheel. That's really important, because it's not going to be the car. It's not going to be your eyes. It's not going to be anything inside that car that's going to hurt me other than your hands. So if I see that your hands are on that wheel, my adrenaline level has now come down, because, all right, I see his or her hands. So now my comfort level definitely comes down. So that's really important. Keep those hands on those steering wheels, and really that's gonna make or break that car stop. Because now if you start fumbling around and I have to tell you, hey, your hands on the wheel, now you're looking at me like, relax. I'm just,
Yeah,
now we're off to a bad start. Keep your
exactly.
hands here, and you just ask the officer, what would you like for me to do first? That's it.
Good. And you know what? And I will say this too, man. Like the roll down the windows thing, a friend did tell me about that. And I do that like religiously every time now I get pulled over, the few times that I have been pulled over. I kind of understand kind of like the level of the level of anxiety once you pull someone over, because you don't know what you're walking into, right? You could be walking into the nicest person ever, or you could be walking into like this guy that's on the run that's
Hey,
not looking to be stopped.
no, and we never know who we're stopping. And
Yeah,
it's a high stress situation for the motorist and the officer. I've gotten pulled over. I'm no angel. I've gotten pulled over, and it's just like, I'm nervous. I'm nervous myself if I get stopped. Thank God I haven't been stopped in a very long time, but I've been stopped, and it's stressful for me. So I know it's stressful for them. And,
mhm,
being on the other side, stopping people, stressful for me. So I know what's going on inside that car. And I try and make them feel as comfortable as possible. And what I find a lot is that people immediately think they're gonna get a summons. I'll tell your audience now. If I'm pulling you over and a good majority of the law enforcement officers across the country, I don't know what goes on, in other countries, but here, majority of them, they don't want to write the summons. Not that they don't want to, but I'm going to stop you because you committed a violation. It's going to be a safety related thing. You're on your cell phone, you ran a red light, you ran a stop sign. And my biggest pet peeve is that you have unrestrained children. If I see that, I'm stopping you. And just because I do that, I'm not looking to write you the summons. So a lot of these car stops, I woke up on the car and it's just like attitude, being disrespectful.
And then that
and right there, now I was here. And hey, I was only stopping you because I wanted to give you a warning because you did something. And now, you just took it up a notch. Not again, I've written tens of thousands of summons, no exaggeration. I'll show you one of these days, but I've given more warnings than I've actually written. Many, many more warnings. So it's not, oh, he's going to write me the summons or just write me the summons. And I'm offended. I'm like, wait a minute. I had no desire to write you the summons. I just wanted to tell you that you did something. I'm not trying to ruin your day. That's work for me, and that's taking money out of your pocket for what? A good verbal admonishment is just as good. So don't think just because you're getting pulled over, don't think you're getting that summons. And I did an interview with a driver instructor and he asked the question and, it's on my channel. You can go to Big Mac Sam's channel where he interviews me. And I tell them, and people look at me, kind of sideways when I say, if you're respectful to that officer, if you say, yes, sir, or yes, ma'am, I guarantee you will not leave with that summons. It's just a matter of respect. That's it. If I walked up on a car stop and in my mind, I'm saying this person ran the stop sign, already. It's a big safety issue. I made the decision. I'm going to write the summons. Somebody could have gotten hurt or killed. And I woke up to that car, Eric, and they're like, good evening, officer. Good afternoon or good morning, officer. I'm sorry. I know what I did. I wasn't paying right away. And I'm like, all right, let me just see your license registration. Let me just make sure your paperwork is in order. And it's like, you know what? Listen, you made the mistake. You got to pay attention. Drive safe. Here you go. They're on their way. Only because of that initial interaction. Good afternoon. Good morning. I'm sorry. That's it. That's all you got to do. You don't, you're just humbling yourself for a second. You might be like rolling up the window and you're leaving like, yeah, that a-hole. I got over on him. I don't know that. But you know what? That time that we're together, you made it better for both of us. I got home safe. You left there with no summons. You're on your way. That's it, man.
Okay. And one of the stories that I shared in my interview kind of went similar to that. My interview with him, so again, check it out on his channel, was kind of like a similar interaction. A cop came up, I immediately apologized, and he checked out my paperwork, sent me on my way. So
you're not going to get the summons. You're respectful. And again, I'm not saying that you got to bow down, kiss the feet of the officer. Yes, ma'am. Yes. It's just respect level, just being a human being. That's it. And I guarantee you, you're not going to get it. If you get a summons, let me know because I seriously doubt if you're respectful, you apologize, even if you don't mean it. But if you give that officer that much respect, and again, I'm not telling anybody you got to bow down to anybody, but just to make the stress level for both of you, come down, just be respectful. That's it.
That's it. All right, perfect, man. Listen, I'm gonna tell you, brother. Listen, I appreciate your service and I appreciate what you guys do, man. I really appreciate it because you know what? At the end of the day, if something happens, you are the guys that I'm calling. You know what I mean? You are the guys that's running towards the danger.
Yeah, well, everybody else is running away.
So listen, I appreciate your service and I appreciate you, everything that you do. And I really mean that because as I said, whenever you do get pulled over, you get upset, whatnot, you get a ticket, whatever. But still, at the end of the day, if you pulled me over and I cursed you out and I get into an accident down the road or I get stuck up down the road, yeah, I'm calling you guys again. You know what I mean? And yeah, even though you just gave me a ticket and I was maybe an a-hole to you, yeah, you're still coming to try to save me. So I appreciate you guys and appreciate your service, man.
Thank you. Like I said, I'm not trying to ruin anybody's day. I do have a job to do, but I have discretion. That's the biggest thing. You know,
Awesome.
nobody says you have to go out there and write Eric a summons. Nobody's telling me that. However, if I see Eric 2 weeks later and he did the same thing,
Then you
now I'm
get
going to be that guy. Now I give you the warning, and you didn't
Listen,
give the warning.
no,
know?
I get it. I didn't heed the warning, so now I gotta get a ticket. I believe it. So Darnell, listen, before so not to kind of like go too much into this interview, I'll let everyone go and watch our interview that we did on your channel.
Yes.
But please, tell people, about the YouTube channel, anywhere else that they could find you.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. And again, thank you for the opportunity to get my story out there a little bit. Maybe people will look at law enforcement just a little bit different. That's all I really want. Just look at law enforcement a little bit different. I'm a humble gentleman. I'm very respectful, and I'm going to treat you just as how I would treat my own mother, my father, my wife, my children. That's how you're going to get treated, because I don't want to be treated any way other than how I'm going to treat you. But if they want to reach out, if they want to check out the content that I have, YouTube channel is Cops Court and Community. Instagram by the same name. The Facebook, same thing. And if they don't want to watch, but they want to listen, I have the podcast under the same name, Cops Court and Community.
Oh, nice, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. I gotta check that out. You may have to hook me up on that. I may have to get on that podcast game.
It's again, it's no different. I'm not adding anything different. It's just the same exact. Our interview, it's going to be on, the podcast. Once the video comes out, I'll normally put out the podcast, the same day. So it's either you watch it or you listen. That's it.
Awesome.
But I'll fill you in. It's real simple, man. Real simple.
Awesome. So Cops, Courts, and Community, right? That's
Courts and Community. Yes, sir.
Perfect. Very good. All right, man. Listen, I appreciate your time, man. And I look forward to seeing the video on your channel. I want to see how I look on the other side of the camera. Listen, guys, thank you all so much for watching the channel. I appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace. Thank you, sir.